High in the icy peaks of the Alps, a powerful wolf kingdom once ruled the mountains. But power is never safe for long. One day, a brown bear attacked the wolf king, shattering his spine. He lay in the snow, writhing in agony, while his wife Sophia watched helplessly, unable to save him. In the wild, weakness is an invitation. Before the king had even drawn his last breath, his own rebellious son seized the moment and claimed the throne. The entire pack bowed to the new ruler within moments. But one wolf refused to kneel. Sophia. She turned her back on the pack she once led and stayed by her dying husband's side, gently grooming his fur, staying with him through his final hours because there was nothing else she could do. For 2 full days, Sophia remained curled beside her husband's frozen body as a heavy snowstorm buried the entire mountain range in white. Love and death had begun to look the same, but the approach of scavengers finally dragged her back to a brutal truth. Sophia realized she was pregnant. In her pack, only the reigning queen was allowed to give birth, and she was queen no longer. If she returned, her unborn cubs would be killed without mercy. There was only one option: run, and run far. The wolf who once ruled beside a king now moved alone. Like an abandoned stray, she stuck to the mountain ridgelines to avoid other wolves. The wind was brutal, the snow deep, and every step demanded everything she had. With only 3 weeks left before giving birth, Sophia faced merciless terrain and constant threats from predators. A fox watched her from above, certain she wouldn't survive the cold and hunger. But nothing could stop her, fueled purely by the need to protect her unborn cubs. Sophia covered 5 to 10 kilometers a day, crossing peak after peak, from the Zillertal Alps, through Austria, into the canton of Graubünden in Switzerland, over the Gotthard and Monte Rosa. In under 3 weeks, she had traveled more than 1,000 kilometers across nearly the entire Alpine range. Her body paid the price. She grew painfully thin, her coat dull and lifeless. But she pushed on until she reached Mont Blanc in France, a place finally suited for raising young. Here, Sophia's true test was about to begin. Sophia had never had to survive completely alone before. The pack had always sheltered her. Now, in unfamiliar territory, she had to find a den on her own. Close to water, dry, safe. It wasn't easy. That very night, the weather turned violent and heavy rain flooded the forest. She couldn't find a proper cave in time, but luck gave her an old fallen tree stump to shelter under. Beneath that stump, Sophia gave birth to 8 cubs. But fate wasn't finished testing her. 2 of the newborns didn't survive. To keep the scent of death from drawing in predators, she was forced to consume their bodies herself. A devastating act of a desperate mother protecting the rest of her litter. Exhausted and weak from labor, Sophia had no time to rest. A rustle came from the bush nearby. She rose instantly, alert, scanning for danger, but found no trace of a threat. In truth, an adult lynx, known as the ghost killer of the forest, was hidden in the brush, silently watching her every move. It wouldn't attack head-on. It would simply wait for the moment Sophia left to hunt, then strike the unprotected cubs. Sophia caught its scent in the air, but couldn't pinpoint its location, so she retreated back into the den. The lynx waited for hours, patient as death itself. For days, Sophia survived on nothing but earthworms, just to keep producing milk for her cubs, too afraid to leave the den unguarded. Then disaster struck. One curious cub wandered outside. For the lynx, it was the perfect opening, but the cub's cry pulled Sophia out just in time, and the lynx's hiding place was exposed. The two mothers locked eyes. The lynx chose not to fight, because she, too, was starving, fighting to keep her own 3 cubs alive. She turned and retreated. After 2 terrifying months, Sophia was finally able to lead her cubs out of that den and away from danger, experiencing the world for the first time. The cubs were endlessly curious and endlessly at risk. One cub chased a butterfly and wandered off, stumbling into a wild boar piglet. Not yet knowing how to read danger, he tried to play with it and was roughly knocked back. The lesson stuck, and he stayed close to his mother from then on. Sophia found a larger, safer den, but a new crisis emerged: food. The cubs were growing fast, but Sophia herself was wasting away and struggling to produce enough milk. Survival meant she had to hunt, which meant leaving her cubs behind. During one of these absences, a bold cub chased after a hare and got lost, but stumbled upon the carcass of a wild sheep, their first taste of meat. Moments like these were shaping who they'd become, some destined to lead, others to follow. Fortunately, the wandering cubs found their way back to Sophia before real trouble found them. She returned from that hunt empty-handed. The area lacked enough prey, forcing her to search for richer territory. While resting at a pool to let the cubs drink, a distant howl reached her ears, a wolf pack, and close. If they were discovered, her cubs would have no chance. There was only one choice: flee. Stumbling but determined, the cubs kept pace with their mother as they tore through dense forest toward the mountain's summit. Just before nightfall, they reached the top, and what lay ahead stopped Sophia cold. A glittering human town. Behind them, certain death. Ahead, the unknown world of humans. After a brief, tense moment of hesitation, she made her decision: cross under the cover of darkness. They moved through bridges, roads, and railway tracks, every step loaded with risk. The roar of passing cars terrified the cubs, but not one of them fell behind. After hours of careful movement, they finally reached the safety of the forest beyond. Crossing the Ubay Valley, Sophia found what felt like a near-perfect home. Mercantor National Park. Far from the city, rich with prey, safe. She could hardly believe it. She had made it. From witnessing her husband's death in the Dolomites, to braving a solo blizzard across nearly the entire Alps, to giving birth beneath Mont Blanc, to leading her cubs through mountain plateaus and mountain ranges, before finally settling in Mercantor. Sophia's journey had become legend. Now, with her cubs by her side, she was ready to build an entirely new dynasty.